And Stephanie, thanks. Counting you down to tip-off before our next game here on ACC Network. Jada Boyd and NC State, they've already won 3 in a row, looking to make it 4. They are on the road tonight in about 15 minutes right here on ACC Network, taking on Georgia Tech and Bianca Jackson. Yellow Jackets looking for back-to-back ACC wins for the first time this season. That game coming your way in just about 15 minutes. As we say hello from the ACC Network studios alongside the Hall of Famer Muffet McGraw, former Clemson sharpshooter Kelly Gramlich. I'm Kelsey Riggs. Great to be with you. Break. Meanwhile, next game we have coming here for you at the top of the hour, NC State and Georgia Tech. Cam Swartz getting ready for action as they get ready to welcome in a top 15 team in NC State. And NC State, as I mentioned, on that 3-game win streak, this team has been playing some really good basketball, and Diamond Johnson definitely a part of that. You take a look at what she was able to do in her last 2 games, and she really went off, Kelly.
She did. She's my on-fire player of the week. And of course, these 2 games that she's played, Louisville and Notre Dame, 2 very tough opponents. I just really like how she's distributing. She's still scoring the ball. We know Diamond can score. She has 18 assists over the last 4 games. She told me that's something she's really trying to focus on, is get other players involved. And NC State, I know I talk about depth too much. It's my word this year. I got to work on it. But NC State has 7 players averaging 7 or more points, and Diamond is getting everybody involved.
And that is exactly what she needs. You have to have depth if you want to win in this league. But Diamond, she needs to run the team. She needs to lead the team. Yeah. You know she can get her shot. Some days she's off and she's trying to shoot and do a little bit too much. But when she gets everybody involved, that's when they're difficult.
Coach, they've made some defensive changes and adjustments too to just really focus in on the defense. This is NC State we're still talking about. What have you seen from them defensively that's really been key?
They really needed to. Their defense was just so porous in the beginning, and now they have team defense. They've got some help. They got better pressure on the ball. Sanaya Rivers, love her defense. She is leading the team in steals. She makes things happen for them.
I think you're seeing Westmore adapt to his roster. Last year, that team was not, they're going to play solid defense. They're not going to really get up in you and force turnovers. This team's more athletic. And so I think Westmore is saying, okay, this is the roster I have. We're not as efficient in the half court. Let's get us out in the open floor. Let's run a bit. And we've seen that really work for them in the last couple of games.
Kelly, quickly for Georgia Tech coming off a win over Clemson, what do they need to do early in this game to slow down NC State?
Toni Morgan's been really good, the freshman for Georgia Tech. I'd say get the ball in her hands, see if you can get Schwartz some good look from 3. If you can score early and kind of set that tone, I think that will help Georgia Tech.
All right, game number 2 of a doubleheader right here on ACC Network. We will see you at the half and, of course, have a full breakdown for you tonight on Nothing But Net after the game. Right now, we've got to send you out to Beth Mowens and Christy Thomas-Cuddy. Guys, enjoy the game.
It's time for some hoops from Midtown Atlanta as we get set for number 15 NC State taking on the Ramblin' Wreck of Georgia Tech. The defending regular season and ACC tournament champs are in town. They've got some work to do to get back to the top of the standings. And Georgia Tech, well, trying to get things going again for a stretch run themselves. Hi, everybody, and welcome to McCamish Pavillion. I'm Beth Mullins, along with Christy Thomas-Cuddy. And after a slow start for the Wolfpack to the ACC season, they are starting to get things cranked up.
Head coach Wes Moore said, we're starting to play with a greater sense of urgency and energy. And Beth, you can really tell that on the defensive end.
Yeah, look at the job. The scoring defense under 60 points per game in this 3-game winning streak. And coming off a huge win against Notre Dame led by Diamond Johnson.
Diamond Johnson, last year's ACC 6th Player of the Year, picked up where she left off. Just dynamic off the bounce, can knock it down from 3, and she is hitting her stride from the 3-point line, 35% in the last 3 games. But Beth, when she can come off that on-ball screen at the top, get downhill, that is when she just makes so many good things happen for the Wolfpack.
She's one of the veteran leaders for NC State. It's a freshman leading the way for Tech, and Toni Morgan.
Toni Morgan in the last 3 games averaging 15 points and shooting 58% from 3. 3 double-doubles on the season. She's so good on the bounce. When she can get that ball to her right hand and get downhill, the Georgia Tech offense just clicks a lot on the shoulders of this freshman here this evening.
NC State opens up the evening in 7th place right now in the ACC, but just 2 games back in the loss column to league-leading Duke and Notre Dame. And around the conference, 7 or 8 games left. That is all that remains in the regular season. Road Reds for State And for the first time this season, sporting the gray unis for the Yellow Jackets. Georgia Tech working it around the perimeter. Cameron Schwartz, number 1 in gray, is their leading scorer at 12 points per game. Has been in double digits their last 3 outings, averaging 18 per night. Off the mark on the opening shot, and we've got a whistle and a foul chasing for the loose ball. It's on Kayla Blackshear.
And Beth, that's one player Nell Fortner needs to keep on the floor tonight. She's been playing so well during this 3-game stretch for Georgia Tech. Gives them a little bit of rebounding as well as a toughness down low.
It is a veteran bunch for NC State. Even though they lost 4 starters, they bring back all upperclassmen in the starting lineup, and they've got Jada Boyd and Sanaya Rivers coming off the bench for Sparks. And working inside is Camille Hobby, and immediately off the make, full court pressure from NC State. Both teams would love to score some more in transition tonight, Scotty.
And it's about pace for both these coaches, and that's why we're going to see a lot more of the pressing. They want to make this up-tempo, and they want to get some easy points in transition.
Diamond Johnson short on the pull-up. Hobby's got a rebound and a second chance for State.
And Beth, something I'm watching when the Wolfpack have the basketball is just the screen on the ball defense of Georgia Tech. How do they defend the rollers?
Down to 5 on the shot clock. Johnson had to hurry it up. Good defense from Juan Anades, and it's a shot clock violation, even though NC State had 3 looks at it. Wes Moore now in his 10th season at NC State after a long career at UT Chattanooga. He is just 4 wins away from 800, and an NC State team that last year was in a whisker's breadth of the Final Four. They reached the Elite 8 for the first time since 1998. As they celebrate the 25th anniversary of their Final Four team that year. State with the push.
But Georgia Tech spent a lot of time on low post defense, knowing how agile and how many counters the bigs of NC State use, but so far the bigs are coming up big for NC State.
Well, Mimi Collins has settled in nicely in the starting lineup. Last 3 games, all in double digits for her, as they've had to deal with injuries to Diamond Johnson and Jada Boyd. It will stay at this end for head coach Nell Fortner, her 4th year at Georgia Tech. An SEC championship winning coach at Auburn, a Big Ten championship winning coach at Purdue, and of course Team USA Olympic gold in 2000 as the head coach, as Tony Morgan scores inside, the freshman from Tallahassee.
And Beth, that's your point guard that has been a beast on the boards for Georgia Tech. I think it's really key for Diamond Johnson this evening not to worry about transition until she gets that box out.
Madison Hayes, nice bounce pass inside to Camille Hobby. Hayes from nearby Chattanooga, Tennessee, a large contingent of family and friends and former teammates in the house tonight. Pull-up is good from Schwartz. The transfer from Boston College is back home, originally from Marietta, Georgia. Jakia Brown-Turner off the bounce, baseline, the skip back to Johnson, thought about the 3. The penetration and the pitch and the triple for Jakia.
NC State just spreads the floor so well that if you're not moving on the pass, they're going to get those open looks as Brown-Turner knocked it down.
Blackshear on the drive. Gets her own miss and sticks it back up and in. She's one of 3 underclassmen in the starting lineup tonight. A young group for Nell Fortner. Hobby faces up. And NC State now has hit 4 shots in a row.
Except for that last 3, all of those have come from the bigs in the paint. That's something that Georgia Tech cannot afford to allow the bigs of NC State to get going here this evening.
Ness has it stripped. Diamond Johnson will push. The step through, foul, and she'll head to the line. No, they're going to call her for the walk. Diamond making her case. Hey, I Euro'd that. Come on now. Let's count them.
Well, if you're a big, you've got to protect the basketball. And Diamond Johnson just trying to create.
Oh, that looked like 2.
I agree with that one.
Schwartz, tough shot around and out. Good box out. Brown Turner's got it. She'll take it in, and she will draw the foul and get a trip to the free throw line, where she is a 78% shooter on the season.
Beth, you talked about the youth of Georgia Tech, and that's an example. That transition defense by Georgia Tech. You had 2 players getting back, but no one ever stopped the ball. Great job by Brown Turner just to keep going and get to the rim.
For NC State, we talked about the defending champs in the ACC. Right now on the host bubble, as we move into February and inch closer to the postseason, they are a projected 5 seed in the NCAA tournament. You want to be 4 or higher, and then you get to host first and second round action.
And if you're one of those 4s, you definitely don't want to face the Wolfpack.
They are in a similar spot with Florida State and Virginia Tech right now, all teams that are on that host bubble as a 4 or 5 seed. Schwartz, she's hunting shots early. Johnson rebounds the miss. Collins, the step back, got it. She's not big on arc, but Mimi has been accurate over the last several weeks for NC State. That was a bullet.
I was really just thinking there's not much Kayla Blackshear could have done defensively.
Oh, nice scoop up and in for Morgan, the freshman.
She is subtle in her movements, but she is big on results.
She's got 4 early. Under 5 to go. Hayes with the skip. Brown Turner, high fly ball. That one hard off the back iron, and Georgia Tech heads the other way. One thing I've noticed calling my 3rd straight NC State game in a row, they don't foul a whole lot. There aren't a ton of whistles in a Wolfpack game. In fact, the other night against Notre Dame, there were no fouls called in the entire first quarter. And so far, just a couple called tonight, 6 minutes in. Oh, nice cross. Johnson scoops it up and in.
Well, I was about to follow up and say, you're saying that NC State plays clean.
Yes.
But that move was
was dirty.
Yes. You stole it from me.
Sorry, English major, I didn't mean to jump in there. That's my one chance I get a night. Off the window, and it's good from Kara Dunn. They're doing what Nell Fortner asked them to do today in practice, and that is attack the rim.
But how did Nell really say it?
What'd
she
she say?
said, get up their nose and get to the rim. It sounded better coming from Nell.
Off the turnover, that's the 4th takeaway already for Georgia Tech. Ooh, dangerous pass, and it ends up with Collins. And then Johnson, oh, give it right back. Good read by Kara Dunn to knock that down. Morgan off the cross. Around and down and one.
Well, Georgia Tech may be young, but Tony Morgan, the freshman, is showing up in a big way here early for the Yellow Jackets. With the right, to the rim. 2 more for Morgan.
How about the postseason outlook for the NC State Wolfpack with about a month left in the regular season? They're in 7th place right now, but they still play just about everybody ahead of them in the league, so there's a chance. It's a strong net at 11. A pair of big top 10 wins over Iowa and Notre Dame. Right now, the bracketology from Charlie Cream has them as a 5 seed. That means they would be on the road the first weekend. They want to improve that down the stretch.
But Beth, you've hit it on the head. They have a lot of important games ahead of them. So they do control their destiny, so to speak. I mean, Westmore said it this morning. He said, we dug a hole. Now it's about us focusing on tonight, first and foremost, to have a chance at increasing our seed line.
They still have Virginia Tech a couple of times. They have Carolina and Duke. Already tonight, Duke, Carolina, and Florida State ahead of them in the standings have wins. And off the drive, up and in. As NC State and Westmore go to the bench, River Baldwin, Isaiah James, and Sanaya Rivers have all checked in. Led so far by their front line, Collins and Hobby, 10 points, and they are so far perfect from the floor. Georgia Tech, meanwhile, everything coming inside the paint or coming off of a penetration and a pitch like that.
You were saying? Let's get the big out and just kick out, just so we don't have all the paint points.
3-point NC State lead. Here is James. Two-man game with Baldwin. She goes to the left hand, lost the handle. Turnover's an issue early for North Carolina State. That's a handful. Morgan, and one. And again, it starts with the dribble drive.
I bet this is a play that NC State went over this morning. Just the horn set. And honestly, I don't think Tony Morgan saw Schwartz coming in there. I'm not even sure how she was able to get that shot up, but such great upper body strength displayed by Tony Morgan.
And big for Morgan to get Diamond Johnson out of the game. She has just picked up her second personal foul with under 2 minutes to go here in the first quarter. And so the leader for the pack sits.
Well, I'll be interested to see now, does he move Sanaya Rivers over to Morgan, or does he move Madison Hayes over, who he says is one of his best defenders?
Rivers has spent some time out of necessity at the point this year. Blackshear steps by the defender, and Georgia Tech grabs the lead. Trailing by as many as 8 here in the first quarter, they have fought back. Rivers thought about the three, steps inside the line and is short. Bianca Jackson off the bench for Georgia Tech with the push. All 5 out on the perimeter right now. Morgan drops it off inside. It's a 13-2 Georgia Tech run as Hermosa scores down low.
Screen on the ball defense right now. Where I was concerned for Georgia Tech, it is now in that last play. Just beautiful basketball. Slow rotation by NC State. Georgia Tech made them pay.
Boyd pulls up mid-range. No, shot clock is off for Georgia Tech. Nell Fortner says, let's hold it for one here. Morgan will have Rivers on her defensively.
NC State switching to the matchup zone.
Baseline drive, pull up, good! Georgia Tech ends the quarter on a 15-2 run over the last 3.5 minutes.
Well, the littles for Georgia Tech have been getting downhill and scoring, but this time Tony Morgan with the screen and the roll to Hermosa for 2. Welcome back to McCamish Pavillion, where the Fighting Nails got the message. Let's get downhill, let's attack the rim. Mainly Tony Morgan. She's done it in transition. She's gone against the grain. Difficulty in terms of shots, but she has delivered. Her head's been up. She's been the floor general, but more importantly, she's gotten to the rim consistently, and she is finished.
Big reason why the Yellow Jackets finished on a 15-2 run over the last 3.5 minutes of that first quarter. They've hit 7 of their last 8 shots, and they've watched NC State go cold. No Diamond Johnson on the floor for the Wolfpack. Their starting point guard and their leading scorer out with 2 fouls. And Westmore kind of searching for playmakers right now, and maybe that's one off the bench. Isaiah James, the sophomore out of Virginia Beach.
I like James's game. I think she just makes some youthful mistakes at times, but I think the more playing time she gets, just the bigger impact she's going to have for the Wolfpack.
Schwartz has it out top. Blackshear provides the screen. Everything off of the dribble drive, and then layups or kickouts. And there's James, not only with the offensive play, but with the pick on the run. Hayes may have taken an extra step or three, but she gets the layup.
The family stuck in traffic from Chattanooga, she gets the extra step.
She got the benefit there. Schwartz, that's off the mark.
Well, transition bucket for NC State starts with the defense. The pick, James leads the break. Long 3 steps there by Madison.
NBA. Oh, those are the kinds of plays that NC State's looking for a spark right now. They've been a little stagnant in half court, so they want to get out and move it.
Westmore said, we need to get some easy buckets tonight. What are those? Second chance opportunities and transition buckets.
Rivers steps through the screen and draws the foul.
Beth, you say step through, I say split that thing. So explosive with the ball in her hands.
It's the second foul on Kara Dunn. Aviance Carter coming into the ball game for Dunn, who leaves with the 2 fouls. So both sides have a starter in early foul trouble. Hey, next Thursday night's women's basketball double dip. Notre Dame and Pittsburgh, followed by these NC State Wolfpackers taking on Wake Forest. ACC Network next Thursday. Notre Dame right now in a bit of a dogfight. Boston College, they're up 2 at the half. Fighting Irish now a half a game behind Duke in the standings. A win would pull them even. Blue Devils a winner earlier tonight over Pittsburgh. James pull up, no.
Based on the body language of Westmore right in front of us, I'm thinking he didn't want that shot. He wanted them to work a little bit more in the half court.
Rivers trying to create. Boyd. Now out to Baldwin, down the left side of the lane, and she's fouled by Hermosa, and River to the line.
Hermosa comes off to jam up the dribble penetration lane by Boyd, and that was why River Baldwin made a great decision to put it on the floor, because she had that lane. Hermosa couldn't do anything but foul there.
First on Hermosa, and Baldwin to the line, a 49% free throw shooter, the grad student transfer from Florida State. Suffered a knee injury a couple of games ago against Miami. She missed the Louisville game and then returned for Notre Dame on Sunday. You can see she's wearing that heavy brace still on the right leg. 7-0 run now for the Wolfpack to start the second quarter, and now they are back in front. Blackshear. And now suddenly it's Georgia Tech that's gone cold.
Well, Georgia Tech's not getting to the rim like they did in that first quarter.
0 for 5 now to open up the second quarter for the Yellow Jackets. Baldwin trying to muscle her way inside, off the window. 9 unanswered now for NC State.
I think River Baldwin's a really important piece for NC State. Gives them not only just another big, but her skill set's very different than Camille Hobby and Mimi Collins. I really like her upside right now and the way Westmore runs his system.
Laredo, no. So that's 6 straight misses for Georgia Tech. Boyd off the bounce, short. A lot of one-on-one right now from NC State offensively.
Well, they got the defense spread out so much that the posts are one-on-one down low. They just got to be able to convert and get to that rim and finish.
Morgan, and I think we're going to call an offensive foul on the screen. Tuesday's college basketball doubleheader on the ACC Network features Louisville, Pittsburgh, and NC State, Virginia on the men's side. The Cardinals able to pick up their first conference win this week. That's coming up Tuesday night. ACC Network for you.
So Beth, Georgia Tech struggling to score. What does Nell Fortner do? She puts in her 2 veterans, Schwartz and Bianca Jackson.
Hayes, 3-ball, got it. 12-0 run for NC State. Jackson, Schwartz back up top. Jackson, 17-footer. Second chance. On the rebound. Schwartz will try for 3. And finally, their first basket of the quarter after 7 misses is a Schwartz triple.
She has not had an easy look yet tonight. That time, though, able to make it fall.
Yeah, she was 0 for 5 prior to that basket. The leading scorer for Tech. And Rivers bounces it on the sideline.
Well, Madison Hayes has over 150 friends and family here today. So what does she do? She spots up, knocks it down.
Well, big one coming up Saturday night on the men's side. And we've been talking about the big contingent, Madison Hayes. That's mom and dad right there, Adrian and Greta, making their way in from Chattanooga with all kinds of family and friends. Her old AAU team, what is it, Tennessee Extreme?
Yes, ma'am.
And her old AAU coach, they're all in attendance as well. I think the ticket count was around 150 for the Hayes contingent. She's hit a couple of buckets, 5 points, including a 3-pointer. NC State has enjoyed a lead by as many as 8 here in the first half.
One bet beyond her offense, her defense so far on Cameron Schwartz has been really good. Cameron Schwartz, only the 1-3 that we had a moment ago.
And that's really where she's been a big difference maker for NC State in the starting lineup this year. Her first year at NC State, transferring in from Mississippi State. Bugaboo right now for the Wolfpack is hanging on to the ball. Spilling out all over the place.
Well, something to watch now for NC State. Wes Moore puts Diamond Johnson back on the court.
Yeah, she's playing with 2 fouls. Carter, bingo from 3. Their second basket of the quarter. Both of them triples.
Georgia Tech started off rough in ACC play, 2-1 in their last 3 games. A big reason why is Carter. She's really picked it up from deep. Has averaging almost 7 points a game now for them.
And coming off a win against Clemson where they had a season-high 85 points and a season-best 51% shooting. Diamond Johnson able to rattle it in, her second basket. Quite often for NC State, when they crank it up on defense, that helps them offensively. That's been the case here in this second quarter. Schwartz finds just enough space, and she's hit a couple in a row. She winces as she heads down the court. You see she's dealing with a left leg issue as well.
Beth, we have so many grad transfers in our game now. I call them grandmas. The GR stands for grandma because their bodies have been put through the ringer for 5 years.
Hayes, nope.
And neither one of these teams known for really attacking the offensive glass. More worried about transition defense.
NC State has done a much better job taking away the dribble drive this quarter. Georgia Tech, a lot more jump shots.
Well, they're switching now on those quick little handoffs and whatnot, so there hasn't been a lane for the perimeters of Georgia Tech.
Gonna have to hurry. Just get it up in time, and a wild shot and a shot clock violation for the NC State defense. Every Thursday at 10 Eastern, right after our women's basketball doubleheader. So coming up next for you, it's the Nothing But Net crew with all the coverage of the night from around the ACC right here on the network, as well as on your ESPN app. Wins already tonight for Duke over Pitt. North Carolina beat Virginia, and Florida State hammered Wake Forest. Tania Latson with another big night. One of the frontrunners for National Freshman of the Year honors this season.
I mean, I don't want to say it's a foregone conclusion that she will be ACC Freshman of the Year, but she's been really, really special. And I've said it, she is the front runner.
Yeah, 9-time ACC Rookie of the Week. That is tied for the most ever. So she's got, 5 more weeks to break the record? And she had another good night tonight. There's the drive, and short is Morgan.
Well, that was good team defense by NC State to come over and affect her release.
Jackson beats everybody up the court and gets the lay-in.
And that's what you got to have. If you're struggling to score in the half court, get it out quick and score in transition.
That puts Georgia Tech back on top. Under a minute and a half to go here in the second quarter. Camille Hobby. Good defense that time from Hermosa. Well, the game of runs continues. It's a 10-2 run now for Georgia Tech. They had a 15-2 run in the first quarter. NC State countered with a 12-0 run.
The ball cannot stick for Georgia Tech. With this sagging defense where they're clogging up the paint, they need to move the ball.
Jackson off the mark.
Well, we talked about how Georgia Tech was struggling to score, so get it to your two veteran leaders. Schwartz, tremendous pass in transition to Jackson.
Rivers spinning, takes the contact, and will head to the line. One for 2 at the stripe. 55% on the season. Foul was on Bianca Jackson, her first. NC State has not been a good free throw shooting team this year, hovering around 70%, which is closer to the bottom than the middle in the ACC. She gets 1 of 2 there.
Well, a lot of it is like Diamond Johnson shoots 85%, but she just doesn't get to the free throw line much.
Shot and game clock's about the same for Georgia Tech here.
NC State goes back to the matchup here.
Blackshear, short, and that'll give State a chance. They left a lot of time on the clock. Brown Turner, good if it goes. And we are all even at the break. Georgia Tech and NC State, 33 apiece. And now let's get you back to the studio at our halftime report.
Beth and Christy, thanks so much. Welcome into this ACC Network halftime report alongside the Hall of Famer, Coach Muffin McGraw, Kelly Gramlich. I'm Kelsey Riggs. Great to be with you. And we got a tied ball game at the half. Georgia Tech at home came to play tonight, and they are hanging around with NC State, who has been on a hot streak. They've won the last 3 games. Kelly, you've been talking a lot, even before this game, about Toni Morgan and how much you like her. What is it about her game that's impressing you?
Well, I think as a freshman, just the confidence she plays with, she can do it all. She can score. She has really good size at the point guard position for a true freshman coach, and it feels like she's in command of this team, even though she's just in her first year.
It really does. It took her a little while to get going this year, and now she has been really steady, very consistent.
We've seen Georgia Tech, and we've heard the game crew talk about how Coach Fortner really emphasized making sure that they get to the rim. And Coach, why has that been working for them in the first half?
Well, it worked great in the first half, and they ended the first quarter on a 15-2 run. NC State came out in the second half, gave them a little bit of a cushion. And as Beth Moen said, they eliminated the dribble drive, forced them to shoot jumpers, and that's how they got back in the game.
And Diamond Johnson came back on the floor, just commanding more attention. She picked up those 2 fouls, so that was an issue for NC State. And their depth is stepping up. I think Baldwin inside, as well as Camille Hobby. But Toni Morgan's a problem. And I think she looked like probably the best player on the floor in the first half.
Leading all scores.
Yeah. Saw Diamond Johnson have to go to the bench with those 2 fouls, Kelly, as you mentioned. When NC State gets her back in the second half, what do you need to see from them?
Well, we talk about how she's been distributing so well. We know she's a scoring threat. She can score. Everyone knows that. But she's been distributing the ball super well, getting different players involved. It would be for Georgia Tech if Morgan was out. I mean, that's the difference. So I think that will definitely help NC State in the second half. But give Georgia Tech all the credit. They're hanging around.
They really are, and they've always been a great defensive team. Let's see how much they can score in the second half.
Tie ball game, 33-all at the break. Second half lies ahead. NC State and Georgia Tech tied at 33 at the break here on ACC Network. As you take a look at the standings entering today, Duke and Notre Dame both sitting at 8-2 in conference play. Florida State just a half a game back entering today, and there are 8 teams within 2 games from the top spot. The February month of the season is going to be so entertaining, and we will have plenty to get to tonight to break down the day's action. So make sure you hang out and join us after the game for Ladies Night. Meanwhile, can't wait to see what Diamond Johnson has in store in the second half. She had to sit out for a little while with those 2 fouls. You know she's going to be hungry to get the Wolfpack back on top.
McCamish Pavillion here in Midtown Atlanta. Georgia Tech and NC State all even. All the favorites, all the leaders in the Atlantic Coast Conference already victorious tonight. So NC State, if they want to hang around with the leaders in the conference, they need to get something going in the second half. Beth Moens along with Christy Thomas-Scuddy, and perhaps it will start with getting the ball back into the paint.
Absolutely. That first quarter, when NC State was playing at their best, their bigs just went to work down low. They're so patient when they get key passes in the paint. They took what the defense gave them. They did some rolls to the basket. They fed them off ball reversal for NC State to get the win here this evening. I think they got to go to their bigs, because here's the big stat I'm following. Georgia Tech and their 2 ACC wins have won the Battle of the Paint points. Right now in the game, they're up 18-14.
It was a game of runs in that first half. Morgan, all 9 of her points coming in the first quarter. For NC State, the only time all year in the ACC they've been tied was against Boston College. That was a loss. And so Wes Moore, I think, is looking to get a little more fast foodish here in the second half.
He said he wants his team like McDonald's French fries. Oh, hot, salty, and good.
Oh, yeah. All right, let's see if they can do those 3 things. Otherwise, Georgia Tech is in line for a major upset. After they started out 0-7 in the ACC, they've won 2 of their last 3 and working on a doozy here tonight. And Juan Hernandez gets the bucket to open up this third quarter.
You gotta love a kid who gives herself an applause after a make. Nice job, Adenaz.
That's her first basket. Diamond Johnson. Long rebound for Hayes. Madison will put it right back up, miss it. And a held ball.
Georgia Tech got lucky there, Beth, because first of all, miscommunication. Diamond Johnson gets a wide open 3. Then Madison Hayes gets the second chance opportunity, but couldn't convert.
NC State will keep it, and a whistle on the inbound. Is that on Kara Dunn?
It was. Well, based on her expression to her head coach. Like, I don't know what to do there. I didn't do anything.
And that is her third personal foul. Oh, they got a nice inbound to Madison Hayes, but she couldn't hold it cleanly. Hobby. Walked with it. Good job by Wona Adonas to hold her ground.
Georgia Tech spent a lot of time yesterday in their post breakdowns of just how to defend the bigs of NC State because they're so deliberate on the catch.
Morgan on the drive. Hobby comes over to help out. And a foul will get Tony Morgan to the line.
That was on Diamond Johnson.
And is that number 3 now on Diamond as well?
So now Fortner decides to get Kara Dunn out of the game, but Wes Moore's going to go with his veteran point guard and leave her on the floor right now.
Morgan misses on the first, a 72% free throw shooter, a top 25 recruit coming into Georgia Tech, a good class for Nell Fortner. They've got some real nice pieces to work with. Morgan has on occasion flirted with a triple-double this year.
She's got great court vision, so she gets the assist, she gets the rebounds, and we've seen her score as well.
And just knocked it away from Brown Turner on the rebound there. Leaves it off for Schwartz. Jackson is out there to start the second half for Georgia Tech. Schwartz, nice change of direction, and then airmails it.
I almost feel like Schwartz knew that was a great move and just got so excited that she was so wide open because that's her cleanest look of the evening.
3 for 9 so far for Schwartz. She does have a triple. Hayes, the entry pass. Hobby, nice ball fake. Tries to wrap it, and she'll go to the line. Foul on Wona Adonas. That'll be her second.
Coach Wes Moore was just warned by the officials.
So Hobby to the line, 86% on the season for Camille. Able to knock it down. 7 points now for Camille with 3 rebounds. Gets a pair. Good shake out front by Morgan. Can't knock it down. River Baldwin, or excuse me, Mimi Collins with the rebound. Johnson. Nice drop off for Hobby, missed the layup. Camille able to get it back. And put it up and in.
If at first you don't succeed, try again. Great job of staying with the play there by Hobby. Horns action here by Georgia Tech. I'd like to see them get the ball inside or get back to dribble penetration, trying to get 2 feet in the paint and kick it out then instead of settling for these quick early threes.
Schwartz uses the screen up top. Tipping it to herself, and then Hobby blocking the shot from Blackshear.
This is tremendous effort by Blackshear. Knowing she can't get it, she keeps it alive, but even better defense by Hobby.
Blackshear spinning, short. Johnson has it. Hobby thinking about the 3. That one won't go. Morgan with a rebound. She's 1 for 6 on the season from downtown.
1 for 7 now.
Schwartz. Wona Adonas. Cold in the second quarter and the chilly to start out the third. Johnson, nice moves. And then Brown Turner misses everything. Morgan fouled on the drive, and Tony will head to the line.
Georgia Tech getting it out in transition, and Tony getting to the free throw line.
Does it again. Brown Turner's first. Well, the team's a combined 2 for 14 to open up this second half. And Morgan will try and heat things up a bit from the free throw line.
If I had Georgia Tech back in November, and I cannot tell you how much Tony Morgan has grown to this point guard role since then. And it's not the scoring, it's the decision making that I've been so impressed by this young lady.
Yeah, she is really developing her game. She leads the team in assists. Had 12 in Clemson in their last game on Thursday. That's the third most for an ACC player this year. Johnson for three. Rattles it in and out. NC State able to come up with it. Boyd leaves it off for Diamond for the lay-in.
And that was subtle by Diamond Johnson, but she knew the help side was coming behind her, so she shifted the ball forward to get it off the glass.
Sagging off of Morgan. Off the bounce on the weak side from Bianca Jackson. Diamond Johnson for three, and that's good.
Do not believe that's what Westmore drew up on that play, but that's a great player making a play for her team.
You're trying to get something going here in this third quarter. Fouls on Hayes.
We were talking about Tony Morgan's decision making. Seeing that River Baldwin was between her and the basket just elevates to get that skip pass across to Bianca Jackson.
Under 5 to go here in the third. Under 10 on the shot clock. Three ball on its way. Hayes, weak side. Boyd to the left hand, that won't go. Morgan, nice fake, wide open alley to the lane.
Beth, we're just seeing some great individual one-on-one moves here in the second half.
Diamond Johnson, back-to-back triples for her. She's got 12, Morgan with 14, the leading scorers for both sides tonight. Good help defense, and then the swipe by Diamond Johnson.
Yeah, Morgan should have just kicked that one to the corner on that possession.
Hayes in the lane, no whistle. Brown Turner will try and gets the bounce. Brown Turner now with 6. Morgan, the pass goes awry. Good defensive set that time on the pick and roll action for NC State. And they've got the advantage.
Dear Dr. Martin Luther King, we are living in your legacy, and your message endures in our game. On the court, we strive for your dream of brotherhood and unity. We fight in your spirit of resolve and commitment. We love each other, and from that love we rise or stumble as one.
Black History always this month. And we've got 3:02 to go here in the third quarter. 47-42, NC State with the lead over Georgia Tech. Both sides, Christy, trying to figure things out offensively coming out of the locker room.
Well, what you see now is just conference play. Your first option's not going to be there consistently, and a lot of times your second option's not going to be there. You've got to be able to be prepared to score when you get that open look, and we've seen a lot of one-on-one play. I think you got to stay in the play. Go to that third and fourth option.
Tony Morgan, the leading scorer, 14 points for Georgia Tech. Diamond Johnson, Camille Hobby in double digits for NC State.
And Beth, I thought Georgia Tech looked fatigued going into that media timeout. You've talked about how there's not a lot of fouls by NC State, so not a lot of stoppages of play, and they've been up and down.
Rivers, 3-on-2. Johnson in the trail. Tried to knock down her third in a row. Carter, fouled by James, way away from the basket. Her first.
Well, I asked Wes Moore today about James, and he said high risk, but such high reward. And we saw that on that play, trying to make the defensive stand, get that steal, instead gets called for the foul.
And Schwartz stepped on the mid-court line, but there was no control, according to the officials. Carter gets the bucket.
Carter's a player for Nell Fortner, just as is always in the gym, always getting shots up, and you're seeing this in the last couple of games. It's coming to fruition for Carter. The game has slowed down, and she's been able to take advantage of what the defense has given her.
Coming up on the final minute and a half of this third quarter in a three-point game. Rivers, 16-footer, got it. And what has been a quiet night thus far offensively, Sanaya Rivers with her first basket. Schwartz into traffic, and a blocking foul going to be called on NC State. That'll be on Boyd.
Georgia Tech was trying to get Carter with the post up against the smaller James. They had to reverse the ball. And that was just a great job by Schwartz of trying to make something happen off the bounce. Tries to split that defender. That's a tough call there.
And actually the foul was on Rivers.
And I agree with that because I thought the rotation was there in plenty of time. Rivers just got her from behind with the body.
Schwartz knocks down the first. Get one or two. Westmore wants Diamond running the show here. Final minute, the lob over the top, and Boyd tried to shoot it without coming down to the floor. She had plenty of time. Hermosa off the window, and it's a two-point game.
NC State had the scouting report on her. New left shoulder. It did not matter on that possession for Hermosa.
Rivers looking for three. Around and out, and then Boyd hustles to keep it alive, but it is off of Jada and over to Georgia Tech. Shot clock is off, a chance to tie it up or take the lead into the fourth.
We saw at the end of the second, Georgia Tech went too early and gave NC State a chance. Here, this game's so close. This is a really important possession for them.
Jackson, they won't let her go right. Schwartz, deep three, got it! The Ramblin' Wreck with the lead heading into the fourth quarter here in Atlanta.
Every coach will tell you that last possession of a quarter is the most important. Great execution by Georgia Tech.
Well, rumor has it Punxsutawney Phil saw a shadow today, so that means 6 more weeks of winter. But hey, let's look at the bright side. That means 6 more weeks of all this great stuff in women's college basketball. Boston and Reese double-doubles. Clark with the logo threes. Mule dropping dimes. Maddie Siegrist, Villanova's all-time leading scorer. Cameron Brink had a triple-double the other day with blocks. And Tanaya Latson on her way to setting a new Rookie of the Week record for most Rookie of the Week honors.
Well, and for fans at home, you need to understand why Beth Mowens is so optimistic about the outlook. She lives in San Diego, where it's always sunny.
It's never winter. Syracuse roots, though, where we had the longest winters of all. So
it made you tougher.
We got ourselves a 1-point game entering the fourth quarter, and the defending ACC regular season and tournament champs on the ropes. All of the folks ahead of them in the ACC standings winners tonight. So imperative for NC State to win, to keep pace, to stay 2 games back in the loss column with 7 games to play. And also, Christy, as we've touched upon, for their standing with the NCAA selection committee, they are on the host bubble right now, and they want to be a top 4 seed to host first and second round action. Oh, by the way, we've got NC State coming up again a week from tonight, taking on Wake Forest, also Notre Dame and Pittsburgh. The Fighting Irish and the Duke Blue Devils, both winners tonight, so they remain tied for first place. NC State back up by 1 as we open up this fourth quarter.
And that was a great job by NC State defending the horns action. Rivers not allowing Morgan to turn the corner.
Morgan and Hobby on that screen up top. Morgan has to give it up. Jackson beats the shot clock buzzer for another triple. Brown Turner leaves it off for Hobby. Nice play.
And that was a veteran move by Brown Turner. Realized the double team came to her, found Hobby open.
Well executed by NC State to tie it up. Everybody getting a touch for Georgia Tech. Hobby had it. Georgia Tech gets it back. Morgan with the left hand, no.
That was a force by Morgan. Would have been better served just to pull it out.
Working inside with the left hand.
And I like this switch by putting Rivers on Morgan. Of course, they just switched with that handoff.
She's back on Schwartz. Morgan looking for 3. Hayes has the board. Turner to Collins. Hobby keeps it alive. Brown Turner will try mid-range. And it goes to Georgia Tech.
Beth, yesterday in practice, Nell Fortner stressed the dominant hand of every NC State perimeter player. That play got blown up because they refused to let Brown Turner go to her left.
Noel Fortner wants a timeout. 7:05 to go, and a tight one in Atlanta.
Georgia Tech is knotted up in this game. Big reason why. The freshman Tony Morgan reads that NC State plays the play, sees that the defense's feet go dead, just takes it right to the rack.
Tony has been a spark tonight for Georgia Tech as they look to pull off the, that would be a pretty stunning upset, all things considered. She's got 14 points to go along with 5 rebounds and 7 assists. Most of the points coming in that first quarter. She's been the facilitator since.
So, but I mean this honestly. Can you call any game an upset in the ACC at this point?
Probably not anymore. The parity's been great.
It's amazing. I asked both coaches, is this the deepest you've seen the league top to bottom? And Westmore said absolutely. Yeah. Anyone can beat anyone on any given night.
Should make for a fun ACC tournament in Greensboro this year. Brown-Turner, transition, missed everything. And the shot selection is going to be critical down the stretch for NC State. The decision-making right now, Wes Moore, I think, is questioning a bit.
Well, when you come up with a scout, it's not about just trying to stop a play, because you're not going to. It's what are you willing to give up? And right now, I think players need to show some basketball IQ and maturity. Yeah. Don't settle for shots, because that's probably what your opponent wants you to take right now. And you're seeing the matchup zone by NC State again.
5 on the shot clock. Hermosa. Well, they did what they wanted. They got the ball in the middle of the floor, and now they're going to have a fresh 20 here.
I give Blackshear so much credit. She didn't try to force a shot there, made the extra pass. Unfortunately, Hermosa couldn't knock it down.
They'll go back to man on the inbound. Schwartz checked by Rivers. Good screen up top by Hermosa to give her a look, and she gets the rebound as well. NC State basketball. Nerea Hermosa getting some extended minutes here in this second half for Georgia Tech.
And that's the one player Nell Fortner said needed to play well for her this evening. 6 points, 5 rebounds to this point in the game.
Diamond Johnson, the fake, the sidestep, Hermosa boards. Morgan, 1-on-3, picked up her dribble and walked with it. Coming off a season-high 12 points against Clemson for Nerea. And Georgia Tech hoping that down the stretch she can get back to the numbers she was putting up a year ago. Get her confidence back.
Well, I think it's one thing to be a Robin, which she had Batman last year with Kabai.
They lost 3 huge starters.
Absolutely. Yep. So her role has changed so much. And Nell Fortner's tried to take some pressure off her, bringing her off the bench. In the last couple of games, it's paid dividends.
They've made back-to-back NCAA tournament runs. 3 straight years of double-digit wins in the ACC. So it's been a real good run. And some challenges this year with all they lost to graduation. On the drive, Morgan missed the layup. Second chance and one! Blackshear with the putback.
And Beth, we talked about the youth of Georgia Tech, but the one thing is they have continued to fight and scrap during that stretch, and they've gotten better. A big example, Kayla Blackshear has not lost hope and has just been a beast on the glass.
Sophomore from Orlando, 6 points, 6 rebounds tonight. And a chance to make this a 3-point lead for Georgia Tech. And she does. Brown-Turner off the fake, lefty. Pull-up is good.
I love that she took the one dribble, got her feet set, knocked it down.
Jakia now into double digits with 10.
And Beth, one thing we're seeing is every end, coaches are making the play calls right now. They're walking it up just so they can get their teams organized in the half court.
Make sure they get the ball into the right hands. Morgan on the cross, into the paint, short corner, Mosa, good, assist, Tony Morgan. Back out to Rivers. Westmore wants Sanaya to get a screen. Off the mark on her pull-up. Final 4 minutes. Morgan and Hermosa working that two-man game again. Timeout, NC State with Tech up 5.
Tony Morgan's up to 9 assists, and none more important than these last two. She gets 2 feet in the paint, draws the defense, and kicks it to Hermosa. Same spot, 2 straight possessions. Big dividends for Georgia Tech.
14 and 9 for Tony, and Schwartz is in double digits with 11. Hermosa now into double digits with 10. Yellow Jackets looking to put a shocker into the Wolfpack. Can NC State, for the second game in a row, win it in the final minutes? They did just that on Sunday against Notre Dame, and now are down 5, 3:37 to play. Three in double digits for State. Hobby Johnson and Brown Turner, and Diamond Johnson, a 3 out of the timeout for Westmore.
Well, I love the execution, and I love the immediate press by NC State. Just switch up the pace of this game.
Morgan, the hesitation, another pretty feed to Hermosa for her 10th dime of the night. And she's all smiles down the floor. She loves that one.
Shoot, I'd be doing cartwheels after that pass if I was Tony Morgan.
Boyd muscles one up and in. Here comes the press again, and a 2-point game.
Tony Morgan rings up her 10th assist with this great pass across the green, across her body to Hermosa down low.
Those two have teamed up for the last 3 baskets for Georgia Tech, last 3 times up the floor. Morgan keeps that one, and the foul on Diamond Johnson, her 4th. Morgan is 4 of 6 tonight. Our next All Access, the ACC Life, a special one that premieres Monday night, an emotional journey with ACC student athletes and administrators who travel to Alabama to experience and learn more about the civil rights movement, highlighted by a march across the Edmund Pettus Bridge. Debuts Monday night on the ACC Network and your ESPN app. Got 1 of 2, approaching the last 2 minutes. Boyd has to give it up. And an offensive foul called on the handoff on Collins.
Well, initially tried to get Boyd the score, and she couldn't, so they kick out, and that's a tough one there. I didn't see anything.
Georgia Tech content to work clock.
I expect an on-ball screen here for Tony Morgan.
And there it is. Oh, they ghosted it. Almost turned it over. And now they're up against the shot clock. Jackson spins. No good. And it will stay with Georgia Tech. And I think they're going to look at this in review to see who it goes off of.
I saw Blackshear with the touch. Oh no, I think that's off of Boyd.
The players on the review, the call on the floor is going to be White's ball right now.
So the call is Georgia Tech basketball. And I think you're right, that last look looked like it was off of Boyd.
And you can't help but feel like right now, this helps Georgia Tech, because this is an uncalled timeout where Nell Fortner can get her offense ready for this play.
Not to mention they can work another 20 seconds off the clock. And that other angle was a better look.
Yeah, see, I think it goes off of Blackshear's palm and then off the tip of Boyd's finger.
Yep. I think it's going to stay Tech.
Also, if I'm Georgia Tech, I don't want to work this clock down so low where the defense is just solid. I would try to get a score here on the out-of-bounds execution.
Georgia Tech, by the way, down the stretch here, they've got everybody that's going to be in the game is at 70% or better. On the night, Georgia Tech is 7 of 11, so a shade under 70%. Possession arrow is also with the rec.
And something key to watch there is the fouls to give by Georgia Tech. If they could get a score here.
At the review, the call is confirmed. It's White's ball.
If they could get a score here and extend this to a 2-possession game, this gets really interesting for how NC State tries to approach this last minute and a half.
So the officials, the initial call correct, and then in review, they get it right again. Shot clock will be at 20 on the inbound. Schwartz, quick shot. No. Loose ball to State. Rivers.
Georgia Tech trying to deny Diamond Johnson the ball here.
Rivers, cross court. Hayes sets up for 3. Short. Final minute of play with the ball and a 3-point lead.
And NC State does not need to foul here. They just need to get the defense a stop.
Switch to the zone again. Final 10 seconds on the shot clock. Morgan had to give it up. Schwartz, 3-ball. Offensive rebound and a foul. Nerea Hermosa crashes.
I think Nell Fortner jumped up with Hermosa on that rebound, celebrating that foul call.
That's a 15th foul, so Hermosa's going to go to the line. Shoot 2. Looking to make this a 2-possession game with the shot clock now off. North Carolina State does have timeouts remaining, so they can use the timeout advance situation here late.
First and foremost, if she misses, get the rebound, then advance the ball.
Makes them both, and there is a timeout to advance 65-60, Tech on top. Top left of your screen, watch Coach Nell Fortner. Is she more psyched than Hermosa about this rebound? Maybe. And a foul. Hermosa gets the 2 free throws. And the player that they were trying to light a fire under, Nerea Hermosa, has been lit tonight. And it's a 5-point advantage. NC State basketball at midcourt, 29 seconds to go.
So if I'm NC State, I'm not going for a 3 here. You don't waste any time. You go for a quick score and then force Georgia Tech to make some free throws. I see way too many teams waste way too much time trying to get a 3.
Season high 14 points for Hermosa to go along with 7 rebounds. She's got 8 of their last 9 points on the scoreboard.
You know, Beth, one other thing about Georgia Tech, they had a bye this weekend, and this team looks so much fresher than they did the last couple of games.
Johnson to inbound, Rivers. Back to Diamond. And she stepped on the sideline out of bounds. Georgia Tech basketball.
I was just about to say, great execution. But unfortunately steps out of bounds, and Nell Fortner calls timeout to advance the ball.
Wow. Costly turnover for NC State. And it will go back to Tech.
NC State runs a flare screen for Johnson, and she's got to look because she steps out. Hermosa doesn't close out even anywhere near her because of how far out she was.
So there's the situation now. Tech with possession. They've also got the possession arrow. They've got fouls to give, both sides with timeouts.
So if I'm Tech, first and foremost, I want my best passer inbounding the ball. And you have to meet the pass here if you're Georgia Tech. You've got to get the ball inbounded. And they need to remember, they're on their side of the court, but they can come to the back court. But again, meet the pass, because you do not want to allow NC State to shoot a gap here and get a quick score.
Number 1 and number 10 are the best Tech free throw shooters on the season. And number 1's got it. Schwartz fouled. And at better than 80% this year, she will toe the stripe.
And Beth, that's just way too easy. Georgia Tech inbounding that pass, executing that play, far too easy.
They are looking at their biggest win of the season by far if they can close it out tonight. Reminder, the men's Tuesday night doubleheader. There you go. Louisville Pitt, NC State, Virginia here on the ACC Network. And for NC State, this would be a gut punch as they will call the timeout to advance. They've won 3 in a row. They were cruising. A couple of big wins back-to-back over Louisville and Notre Dame. We talked about them being on the host bubble, a projected 5 seed. They need to be higher than that to host first and second round games. And also everybody ahead of them in the standings winners tonight. And they would fall further behind with time getting short. There's what is coming up, including Monday night, the Play for K game against Virginia Tech on ESPN2.
There's no for sure win that they have upcoming. And the bottom line right now, especially when they go on the road, their defense has to travel. This is a Tech team that came into tonight only averaging 62 points. Against what we have felt has been a really good defensive team these last couple of games with NC State, but their defense let them down a couple times tonight.
Last time State looked to Diamond Johnson, where do they go this time?
I'm going for a quick score again. I think get to the rim because you've got a 2-possession game, but if you're looking for the 3, it's got to be Diamond Johnson, who's their best shooter on the season.
There she is. And they're going to call the offensive foul on Brown Turner setting the screen. Second straight possession where they do not get a shot up.
It takes 5 players to execute a play. Yeah, great call by the official. Brown Turner does move on that screen, trying to get Diamond Johnson open, but sometimes you just got to let it go. And Diamond Johnson was close to the sideline again on that catch. But Georgia Tech calls timeout, advances it yet again. I would almost reverse the curl cut of Schwartz and use her as a decoy and have someone else coming to the ball, because you assume this time NC State will defend the play the same way. Or I should say, will know what the play is and defend it better.
Schwartz is at the back of the stack. Bianca Jackson is the other really good free throw shooter. She's at the front of the stack.
Yeah, I would take the inbound defender here and help on the curl. Just make sure Schwartz doesn't catch it.
It's Morgan, ball in hand, and a foul. A 13-7 Georgia Tech run late has opened this up and made it a 2-possession game, and they will look to extend it.
Well, NC State still has the one timeout here.
Morgan with the free throw. 16 for Tony. And a double-double for her tonight. 17 points, 10 assists. Johnson scoops it up and in.
Smart play by Tony Morgan, not to foul. Just concede the 2 points.
And now Nell Fortner will call the timeout to advance. 8.5 to go and a 6-point lead. As the Jackets try and win their 3rd game in their last 4 outings. And that is a look at their upcoming schedule. Sunday down to Miami and then at Clemson, so back-to-back roadies.
Beth, you just said they've won 3 of their last 4. Tony Morgan, a double-double in 3 of the last 4 as well. Freshmen are supposed to start hitting a wall this time. Tony Morgan's busted right through it.
She is not. Morgan teaming up with Hermosa in this 4th quarter. That duo really went to work. And again, flirtatious with the triple-double. Which, of course, would be a Tony if she can do it again.
You've been dying to do that, haven't you?
All night.
She'll be here all week, folks.
That, by the way, ties a career high. That last free throw actually got her to 17 points. And she will be the inbounder.
It's the same stack, but players in different locations this time.
Pass picked off on the inbound, Boyd, and then they give it right back. And Georgia Tech will get the upset win over NC State. 68-62, the final biggest win of the year for Nell on Wheels and the Ramblin' Wreck.
Nell, yeah.
68-62 your final, Georgia Tech over NC State. For our entire crew, Beth Mowens, Christy Thomas Scuddy, let's get you back to the studio. So Nothing But Net can talk about the Stunner here in Atlanta.
What's going on? Welcome into Nothing But Net alongside the Hall of Famer, Coach Muffet McGraw, former Clemson sharpshooter Kelly Gramlich. I'm Kelsey Riggs. Great to be with you. Lexi Brown not with us today because she just signed a new contract with the LA Sparks. So congratulations to our girl Lexi. She'll be back with us next week. But we had another busy Thursday here in ACC hoops and lots of games to get to. And starting with what we just saw with NC State and Georgia Tech in Atlanta. NC State, the number 15 team in the country, Georgia Tech, trying to take them down late first quarter. Georgia Tech up by 1. Nerea Hermosa, she came to play today, Kelly.
She did. She had such a good year last year, has struggled a bit this year, but that's the Hermosa that we thought we would see this season. It's a good sign for Tech.
Meanwhile, Diamond Johnson comes up with a nasty step-back jumper. NC State takes a 3-point lead. We take you to midway through the third quarter. NC State down 1. Coach Moore from Diamond Johnson, after she got in foul trouble, she was back out making buckets.
You could tell the difference when she wasn't in the game. When she came back, she made a bigger impact, but she's going to have to do a little bit more.
Few possessions later, Georgia Tech looking to tie it. Toni Morgan, the freshman, splits the defense for the easy layup. Georgia Tech ties it at 42. Then it's Johnson trying to answer.
Diamond did all she could. I am not sure the on-fire jinx, which rumors are saying is a thing, is really a thing.
It's over now, and Cam Swartz says the third quarter is over, knocks down the deep 3. Georgia Tech goes up 50-49 headed into the fourth. Then it's Bianca Jackson. Eventually finds it in her hands, catch and shoot with time running out, but Georgia Tech takes a 2-point lead, under 4 minutes to go in the game. Georgia Tech up 3. Hermosa, the jumper. It's good. Georgia Tech wins it 68-62. Congratulations to them, and we are excited to be joined in just a second by one of their players from Georgia Tech. We're going to talk with Toni Morgan. She had herself a great day. 17 points, 6 rebounds, and 10 assists. 17 points matches her career high. Let's start right there with Toni before she joins us, Coach. And she has really come into her own lately.
She really has. I wonder what the non-conference was just preparing her for conference season. Now she's getting comfortable. She's been incredibly consistent for a freshman.
She has. And it feels like Georgia Tech in general is just getting healthy and getting comfortable. Cam Swartz had some injuries early on in the season. Hermosa's playing better, but Toni Morgan has really been the difference. She looks so confident, doesn't look like a freshman, has really good size at the PG spot, and played great tonight.
Plenty of good things to say about her, but let's hear what she has to say about the win that they just got over number 15 NC State. Toni, we appreciate the time. Congratulations, first and foremost, walking out of there with a win at home over NC State. What's this one feel like?
Thank you. It feels amazing. I mean, we came out here, we worked hard, and this is what we've been working all week for.
Toni, NC State is a very good team, ranked in the top 15. You guys beat them on your home floor. What was the key to success in this game for your team tonight?
The key to success was transition defense, getting back, and boxing out and stopping their post from scoring. And I think we executed the game plan well. We came out and won.
Toni, sometimes freshmen come in and they're a little bit hesitant to take over, but it seems like lately you decided that you're going to take over these games. How's that feel?
It feels amazing that my team has the confidence in me to let me do what I can do, and I help them, and we help each other, so it feels amazing.
Toni, Georgia Tech got off to a little bit of a slower start this season, but you guys are playing well as of late. Is there anything specific that has changed for you or for this team?
We just kept believing, and we stayed the course. We knew that was temporary. We knew we could bounce back from it, so we just stayed the course and kept believing.
Toni, 2 in a row for you guys now, and then you've got to go on the road to Miami, so I know it doesn't get any easier in the ACC, but what do we do to celebrate after 2 wins in a row now and you guys are at home?
Hey, we're going to dump some water on Cousin Ellen. We just going to scream as loud as we can.
I love that. Toni, we appreciate the time. Congratulations on another great performance and getting a win over this top 15 program. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Great stuff there from Toni Morgan.
Kels, can I ask, because I feel like the water dump is a new trend. Did you ever let your team dump you with water?
Is it a let thing, though? I think it just happens.
It just happens. Not
okay,
until
but
the championship.
Yeah. But when did it happen for you? When did you let it happen?
The national championship.
That's it.
But I had no control. I wouldn't have
but
let
I feel
it
like Coach at a regular season win, she's like, don't do that to my hair. What are you guys doing? It's a new thing.
Maybe, but it's also worth celebrating, right? You got that win at home, especially they've been grinding it out this season, getting some consistency now, and to beat a team like NC State, who came into this game really hot. We were talking great things about NC State. I think we all have still high expectations for them. But Kelly, she mentioned what she feel like they have done differently to kind of make that turn. What have you seen from this Georgia Tech team?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, I mean, Swartz was injured coming into the year and was dealing with some different things. And I feel like this Tech team, they had so many new pieces. It was going to take a while to gel. You lose Lodamai Lottinen. You lose Lorella Kubai. Kubai was one of the best two-way players in the nation. And so you no longer have her as the anchor of your defense. It's a lot to adjust. And then they had some young pieces like a Toni Morgan, but they're hitting their stride, and it just adds to the teams in this league that you don't want to see, Coach.
Yeah, well, and Hermosa has come along. Mm-hmm. She's somebody you expected early on, upperclassman, Cam Schwartz, upperclassman. Suddenly the freshman's coming along and leading the team. She's playing really well, and she's the one that's relaxing everyone else.
She had 17 points. Hermosa had 14. Cam Schwartz had 12. That 3 should have counted for 4, I think, because she hit it at the buzzer from so far back. So congratulations to Georgia Tech on a big win. Let's also flip it around, though, and talk about NC State. And, Coach, what went wrong for them tonight?
Well, I like to think the defense, but you look at the score. They didn't score that many points, but you saw that play where Toni Morgan split the defense, went right in for an uncontested layup. There were a lot of breakdowns defensively. Offensively, I think they got tight at the end of the game. They didn't know who was going to shoot it. How many offensive fouls did they have down the stretch? Just some poor clock management at the end.
And I think Diamond in foul trouble early. You're not able to have the first half you want. But this team is just different than last year. The consistency is not there. One of the best things about NC State last year, you knew what you were getting every single night. And because those players were all fifth-year seniors. Yeah. So it's tough because you want to just compare this NC State team to last year. And it's not fair because it's a brand new roster and winning on the road is tough. And this is a trend that we've seen with quite a few teams where NC State, when they're at home in front of that crowd, they can beat anybody. But you go on the road, that's what makes the difference between a good team and a great team is going on the road in front of kind of a sleepy gym and still being able to play well.
NC State's 3-game win streak comes to a halt there with Georgia Tech. They are back at home for a big matchup with Virginia Tech for their next game. So looking forward to that one.